first? Is this our first?
Our first interruption.
This is our first interruption.
Here it comes. The kids are not, in fact, in bed.
Turns out.
Direct eye contact with one of his friends from about 20 yards away. And he was just like trying to process.
He's still trying to process it 7 years later.
I feel like I should have seen this coming. The more I'm into something, the more you're like, no. And as soon as I went, never mind, this isn't a good idea. You're like, this is the best idea I think I've ever heard. Kids are in bed?
Kids are in bed.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 6. We know our episodes. We don't know what episode of the Oscars it was, clearly, when we look back at
96. It was 96.
Should we do the math?
We're just off by one.
Yes, just off by one. There's only one real surprise, right?
Yeah.
I figured we could just recap that because it was
sure.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Won for...
I think it was an upset. In my opinion, it was an upset, but...
She won Best Actress, or Best Female Actor, and beat out Lily Gladstone.
Correct.
Is who we kind of assumed was going to win.
Well, and we're rooting for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't read any of the headline. I mean, I read the headlines, but I didn't read any of the articles. Was there a lot of hurt feelings when it came to that? No, I know, like in years past, like when there's a controversial pick, sometimes I'm like, whoa, everybody's really upset about that. But I didn't know if that was the case with this one or not.
I don't believe so. And I think it's just because no one could deny that Emma Stone was crazy. Yeah.
Which we can't really comment. Well, you said you could comment on because you've seen enough clips and trailers.
So much of it. I've basically watched the movie.
I have only seen the trailer. So
yeah.
I love Emma Stone, so I don't have a problem with her winning. I can't really comment on the difference.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone can really say that Emma Stone didn't deserve it. It's just that I think a lot of people were rooting for Lily Gladstone.
Yeah. And that was Emma Stone's first win or second?
Second.
She won for La La Land?
La La Land, yeah.
I was trying to remember, was La La Land the one that had the mix-up with the Best Picture? Was that La La Land and Moonlight?
Yep, sure was. That was last night when they let Al Pacino deliver.
Yeah.
It was like, I thought it was Warren Beatty all over again. In my eyes.
Well, and we were talking about it. It was like he was coming out of the bathroom and some assistant producer or something was like, we need somebody to present Best Picture. He's like,
I can do it. Nice.
He just went out there just like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
How old is he? He must be in his mid to late 70s.
Yeah, I would assume.
Early 80s. He's got to be roughly around Robert De Niro's age. So prime.
Late 70s.
Prime baby making age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandpa was in his... Never mind. We don't need to talk about that. You just go ahead and cut that out.
That's a whole episode.
That's a whole
episode. We won't talk about that. Yeah. I just wanted to recap those and Oppenheimer, as you predicted. I think all of your other predictions came true from last week. So
they did.
There you go. Now you know next year. If you need the inside track, this is where to be. Talking to Jenni.
One interesting thing that did happen last night was Billie Eilish. Eilish. I'm so hip. Billie Eilish is the youngest person ever to win 2 Oscars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Because, what is she, 22?
She's 22. Why do you know that? That's really impressive.
Just a guess.
Yeah, just interesting. Yeah.
And she won with her brother, right?
Yeah, they both won together previously.
Yeah, that's very cool too.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's weird though because they are siblings, and I think he uses his real last name, and she
they
has
have different 2 last names.
A stage name.
I don't know which one is.
I suppose I'm just saying that they could have different parents. There's a whole lot of scenarios that could result in a different last name. I don't know why I just went. She uses a stage name and he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea.
But I know very little about him, but he seems like a nice guy from the videos I've seen. And he's a talented musician.
Talented musician. He's also, they both actually, because he's, I think, 26 or something. And the previous records were like Hilary Swank was 30.
Mm-hmm. Boys Don't Cry.
I think she was 30 when she got her second, which was $1 Million Baby. And then Jodie Foster.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like 29. And then another kind of
Nell.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Silence of the Lambs, to be sure, and then something else, and then some other actor that's from early era that I don't. Louis Rain or no, I don't know her name. I'm gonna mess it up, but she was 28. So they were actually both at 26 and 22. They both broke a new record simultaneously.
Wow, and that's for getting their second.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's our Oscars recap, everybody. And spoiler alert, I guess. People didn't watch it.
Well, I mean, if they have a smartphone, they got some sort of alert.
That's true.
Right? Actually, no one at my work today watched the Oscars last night. I was like trying to have conversations with people about it. Not a single person watched it.
Oh, that's a bummer, isn't it?
I just wanted to like geek out with somebody. Yeah. Nope.
Not a single person.
Not a single person. I mean, I was in an all-day meeting with the same 10 people.
Oh.
So I guess
they were all talking about the Oscars outside the meeting.
Yeah.
So good luck starting that conversation. They're gonna be like, we talked about it on Monday.
Yeah.
Should have been there. Anyways, this week, we're back to more conventional topics and attire, clearly. And we're not drinking massive quantities of champagne.
I mean, I do have a glass of red wine.
That's true. You didn't have to show everybody, Miss Hannigan. But yeah, it'll be much easier on me editing. But I wanted to talk about our first? Is this our first? Our first interruption.
This is our first interruption.
Here it comes. Who's got the guts to come around the corner?
Oh, not who I was expecting.
No.
Aren't you supposed to be in bed? What's going on? I really thought it was going to be the other one.
So did I. Do you need me to bring you back up? Okay.
Uh-oh.
The kids are not, in fact, in bed.
Turns out. You're supposed to be sleeping.
We are 0 for 2.
It's daylight savings time.
Thank you, daylight savings.
They're just really confused about what time it is.
Indeed. And we're back.
Kids are in bed?
We'll see how long. We don't have much time here to get this taken care of, but hey, we started bedtime. We started bedtime an hour and 5 minutes ago, or 2 hours and 5 minutes ago. So we're doing great.
Yeah.
It's probably
follow us for more parenting tips on how to get your kids to sleep
before midnight.
We're the best at it.
Yep. God, daylight savings.
I don't get it. I think it's dumb. I hate it.
Well, what's so funny about it is it trips everybody up because today we were a little behind, and as was everybody in the drop-off line. Normally, when I get there, it was like 10 after 9. Usually, I can just drive around. Like, I don't even have to wait in a line. And today, I had to wait to the street because everybody was behind because of daylight saving.
Messes up the whole world. Well, not the whole world, but messes up most of it.
Yeah, the important part. Us is what I was saying.
Awkward.
I don't know why it would be awkward. I don't know what other part would make it awkward. Anyways, we wanted to talk about, or I wanted to talk about restaurants.
Oh my gosh, is that why you wore this shirt?
What? You mean this track jacket that I got from the local 218 in Brainerd, Minnesota? Minnesota. Not this
nice.
Year. Minnesota. Your hometown stopping grounds. Order chicken and waffles and get the Eggs Benedict. The local 218.
Whoops-a-daisies. No, seriously though, did you wear that on purpose?
No.
Was it an accident?
It was an accident.
Or a coincidence, as they say.
Yes, it was coincidentally the only clean light jacket I had.
Yes.
Coincidentally. So I wore it, and here it is. But we talk about, well, we go to a lot of restaurants. I think is kind of the first thing I wanted to talk about. We go out to eat. I feel like, and maybe you disagree with this, but I feel like more than the average family of 4 with kids of the same age. Do you feel like that's true?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. Because we've always been big on going out and taking our kids places.
Mm-hmm.
Since it was like, I don't know, for some reason it was something that I was big on when we first had him when he was little. It's like, we're not just going to shut ourselves in our house and never do anything again.
Yeah.
We went completely in the opposite
or
direction.
do only kid-related activities.
Right.
Which is the other direction you can
go. Right. And so we went completely the opposite and just started going to bars like we never had a kid before.
I mean, they were bar and grills. They weren't like legitimate bars.
I forget.
Restaurants, you know.
I suppose they serve food.
Sports bars.
Yeah, sports bars.
Yeah.
We went to that one downtown Minneapolis.
That might have been a bar.
They serve food.
But it's actually super
to
bring your kids to breweries.
It is. This was not that. No. I had to bring Juden to change his diaper. And they did not have a changing table in the men's bathroom.
I remember that.
And the counter space was limited. And the floor was a no-go.
Thank God. Jesus.
So I opted for the counter. And there were like, wet paper towels, balled up. And so I kind of shoved those out of the way. And I was just about done. I forget the name of it. It was like Boudreaux's butt paste.
Oh, yeah.
We got for a baby shower thing. We only had one tube and we never even used all of it. But that was what we had because it was in the baby bag because we had gotten it.
Yeah, it was a gift or something.
And the toilet flushes and the guy comes out of the stall and sees me putting the butt paste on.
Why was it called butt paste? So strange.
That's what they called it. And he's like tucking his pants in. He goes, "I'm next."
Oh, disgusting. Did you do it?
It wasn't my finest 30 seconds.
Do it?
Oh, yeah. 100%. No. We had a good laugh about it. But you had more that's the most trouble I ever got into. You had the harder time because you had to do all of the things surrounding feeding our child. I didn't have to partake in any of that.
Yeah.
Other than the dumping of breast milk that was contaminated with alcohol.
Which turns out is an absolute waste.
Didn't stop me from drinking it just in case.
Tim. Overshare.
In Maryland?
Yeah, I remember.
You had to pump in the car and then you were like, "Hey, can you throw these? Can you just dump these out?" Because you only had one bottle. And you needed to empty, or I don't remember why I had to do
it was because we were in Maryland.
Traveling, yeah.
I wasn't gonna transport a whole bunch of breast milk back to Minnesota. Yeah. It's actually quite a hassle to get through. You have to fill it below. It's just like a whole thing. So I was just dumping it all out.
Right.
We were tailgating.
Yeah, we were tailgating for a Gopher Terrapin game. And you handed me to dump it out. And I just knew that we were dumping it out because there was a chance that there was alcohol in it. And I was just about to dump it on the ground. And then I looked at it and thought, if there's alcohol in it.
Oh my God.
I should try it just to see what it tastes like.
This episode is taking a strange turn.
And so I didn't just taste it. There was probably 2 ounces in it. And I just knocked it back. And when I came down, we were with my friend Stefan. He's come up in a lot of 3 out of the 6 episodes. And we were with a lot of his friends from out east who we didn't know until 3 hours prior.
They literally just met you.
And I came down and direct eye contact with one of his friends from about 20 yards away. And he was just like trying to process.
He's still trying to process it. 7 years later, he's still trying to process it.
No, I hope, I can't remember if he had children or not yet, but I hope if he's had children, he's like, I got to do it now, you know?
I don't think that's a thing you have to do. I just
I disagree. I think it's an important thing. And
yeah.
And I found the taste to be quite nice.
Very good. Very good. Glad to hear.
Why does that make you so uncomfortable? I don't understand.
It's very strange. It's very strange.
It's not like I was getting it right out of the tap.
Okay.
Restaurants.
They serve food. That's cool.
That is cool.
I like to eat. Milk. That's also fun.
You can get a milk there.
See, we're moving away.
Oh, we're going. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Missed that.
Yeah, but I do think we go out to eat with our kids probably more than the average person with kids our age.
Yeah. I feel like at least I've never really polled anybody, but when we talk about it with other couples that have children roughly the same age, it feels like we're out more.
I think a lot of people, it's not enjoyable. It's like more work than it's worth.
Right. And this is precisely why I wanted to talk about restaurants today. Because I feel like one of our missions always with restaurants and trying to find a restaurant is finding one that is family friendly. And I feel like I need to not say family friendly because a lot of restaurants are family friendly.
Family and adult friendly.
Yeah, it's like
kid and adult friendly, not family friendly. Family friendly has like Chuck E. Cheese vibes.
Right. And
that's not what we're talking about.
I feel like
aren't you supposed to be sleeping? But yeah, so family friendly conjures up images of Dave and Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
And it's more like adult and kid friendly.
Yeah.
Maybe is what we're trying to say.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, we found a spot called The Lookout in Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Well, I mean, we didn't find it as a family. We found it as,
No, yeah, we found it
bargoers.
as drunken 20-somethings. But once we had kids, they have this great patio with a playground and like a waterfall and beach volleyball and like there's a basketball court. There's all this stuff for them to do. Basketball court's kind of a stretch.
I was just going to say, it's not fancy. You're kind of making it sound.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be anything fancy.
No.
It's literally like a basic swing set.
Yeah,
like people would have in their backyard.
They picked up all this stuff.
Yeah.
At like, somebody was like, just please take this play set out of our yard and take this basketball hoop out of our yard. Yeah. And they did that and they're like, kids will probably use it.
And guess what?
They all use it.
There's so many kids hanging out around that playground.
And they're happier parents because of it.
I've just started telling all my coworkers about it.
What are you doing?
Well, I have to spread the knowledge. Why should I hold that information to myself?
We have long wait times, but I have thoughts about long wait times, so we can't talk about that yet.
Okay.
No, you're very nice to let other people know. Plus,
I know.
A lot of those people live on the South Metro anyways. They're not coming.
Oh.
Are they?
I mean, I tell the people that live nearby it, so.
Oh, no. Fine. The weight is on you now. I'm going to blame you every time. But yeah, when we look around, we're always looking for a place. And now the Lookout also, we should say, is the things we discovered are outdoor things. So it's our spot when it's warm. So we're almost to lookout season where we don't really worry about this as much because when we need that fix, we have a place to go. But the winter, which is the majority of our year in Minnesota, we do not have patios. And there is, outside of the places we've already named, Dave and Buster's, Chuck E. Cheese, things like that. Space Aliens is one too, where they're like dedicated arcades. The mini arcade does not exist anymore.
The mini arcade, what's that mean?
So I will use this reference because we both share it, like Pizza Hut in our hometown.
Oh, you mean like 2 arcade games?
Pinball machine and 2 arcade games.
Yeah.
You don't need anything
Yeah.
else, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you don't. And I feel like somehow we've really lost our way because everybody's like, oh, people have tablets now. Not the same. Tablets are not the same because it keeps the kids at the table and it doesn't really help anybody with anything at all. The Wi-Fi isn't working, or it's too loud, or it's not loud enough, and it's just a disaster. And it makes for not the vibe. Now, this is not to say that this is the vibe that we want all the time, but it is nice to be able to go someplace, because we just did this when we were on vacation at Grandview, because their pub has a little bigger than a mini arcade, but just a few games.
Oh yeah.
And it's nice.
It's like a whole separate room though.
It's
Yeah, it's
nice
legit.
to be able to give, whatever it was. I think I gave them both like $5 or $10. They blew through that in 5 minutes, but I'm not asking for a whole meal. It's just like, just let them have something to do. Why do you think that it's technology that has taken that away from us? Or what do you think? What would you think the answer is?
Gosh, I don't know.
Oh,
I think, yeah, that makes sense. The restaurant owners just assume that the kids are going to have their own smartphones and they don't need to entertain them.
Right. The only reason I think I'm wrong on that is because we still have the kids menus that are like coloring books, which
I am familiar.
Can be a good distraction. But then there's other restaurants that have other things some are good. We went to one that had like mini Magna Doodles.
Oh yeah.
That was a cool idea. Cool. Very, I think we liked it because it was different and very environmentally conscious.
Oh yeah, not wasting all those
crayons and
paper, killing trees and stuff.
I know that crayons are necessarily bad for the environment once they're thrown away, but can't be great.
Well, there are some places that mold them.
Oh,
actually.
Do they really though?
I mean, yes.
Oh,
I don't know how much they get used, but yeah.
What place? Like local places?
Unsure.
Okay.
I just know.
Uh-oh.
Somehow. Don't remember how I know this. But yeah, there's environmental groups or whatever. I don't know. That take broken crayons.
They'll come get them. The restaurant isn't doing this.
Oh no, the restaurant's not doing it themselves.
I was like, there's no restaurant that's remolding crayons for the kids.
No, I meant there are organizations that specifically do that.
Sure.
That's their gig.
Gotcha.
So
somebody's job is to just call around and be like, hey, you got any broken crayons? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
I like those things at our social. Yeah. They're like these little waxy. They're like pipe cleaners, but waxy.
Yeah.
You can make designs out of. Those are kind of fun. I mean, I've made a flower or a ring or two in my day with those.
You have made a flower or a ring or two. Yes. But so they still have those. So they think there's a need for those, but I mean, and the thing is too, that it's always like big buck hunter, which fine.
When was literally the last time you saw a big buck hunter?
They have one at our social on Main. They have one in your brother's pizza restaurant as well.
No, they don't. A big buck hunter? Huh. Where?
Right by the other games.
Who would have thought?
I mean, everybody who saw it would have thought it. That's big buck hunter.
There's a big buck hunter in our social? Okay, yep. So listen, though. You just made this whole little spiel about how there's no arcade games anymore and then named 2 restaurants that still have them.
Yeah.
So you're kind of
Well, no, I had to slow down to tell you that Big Buck Hunter is in a couple of places, but I was saying Big Buck Hunter is not a kid. Clementine can't play Big Buck Hunter.
Oh,
Jude can barely play Big Buck Hunter. What I'm saying is we have emulators now that you could play any Nintendo game that you want on the same device without changing things. Why isn't that an arcade game that's in every restaurant?
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Right? I mean, I'm sure there's a logistical reason why, but regardless, to me, irregardless, my apologies, is that as a restaurant owner using us, and again, I get that we're not a good sample for everybody, but I feel like we are a good sample for people that want this. And it is that, one, you're making money by having them, because we're going to throw probably a minimum of $5 into the machines during our stay there. Would you agree?
Well, where's this $5 coming from? It's hopefully credit card. I don't have $5 on me.
Let's live in a world where it's credit card.
If it was cash, I wouldn't be using that thing.
But let's say it is cash. I guarantee it would take one time for us to go to that restaurant, and every time we went, we would show up with change, ready to have that going.
That could be interesting. Yeah.
That could be interesting, or that could be.
That could be. It's also interesting.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I that's fine. That's a good opportunity for kids, I guess. But I really like the where they can run around. That's really what's more fun for them. Because even if you're playing a video game or arcade game, you're still they just get a little antsy.
Sure.
So something where they can,
but like I'm saying,
get out a little energy is way far superior.
Well, the Lookout, yes, of course, that is superior, but that's not reasonable in the winter in Minnesota.
Well, it's like, okay, so McDonald's Play Place. It exists.
Sure does.
People go there. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to go to McDonald's.
No.
So why is...
That's not true. It's pretty popular. Lots of people want
to go to McDonald's. It's popular because of the Play Place. Not because people want the McDonald's.
I see a lot of parents eating a lot of McDonald's. They look pretty happy with themselves eating that McDonald's. I did. Again, we're not necessarily the exact right.
Okay. I was just gonna say.
I think I'm the only parent that doesn't eat.
A play place inside of a McDonald's where the parent is eating a shitty cheeseburger and drinking High C, when it could be something like that inside of a better restaurant.
Yeah, see, and I'm with you, but then everybody who's going to think of that is going to think, oh, well, this is for families. It's not for just adults, so I can't go. I don't want to go. And because there is such a large...
Why does it work for McDonald's? People go to McDonald's that don't have kids.
Yeah, but if you're eating McDonald's, you're not caring where you're eating McDonald's. You were just stopping in because you also needed to use the bathroom. If you walk in, there's kids running everywhere. You're like, I guess I'm getting this to go after I go to the bathroom, and I'll just go eat this in my car and cry alone.
I think there's a space for play places and good food and drinks. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And you're probably right. But that is a big I'm trying to make a change here, and an arcade game is a very low overhead investment for a restaurant, because you're going to make that money back very quickly, especially if you're the first one in town to do it. Kids are going to go nuts. There's going to be a line of kids. Talk about they're antsy. Yeah, well, if you want to play, get in line.
Some restaurants don't want kids.
Right. But that's my whole point, though, is because we do have a restaurant locally that tried that, and they had to kind of walk back on that. And the reason is because there is no specifically family friendly restaurant. They're all kind of the same. They're a half foot in, half foot out. They don't know where they want to be. All it takes is just one. Our Social would be a great candidate because they have so much room that they could just throw in a couple of video games. Rather than Buck Hunter, and they have some claw game where you win White Claw koozies.
Yeah.
And it's like three.
Why did our kids want a White Claw koozie out of that thing?
I want to look like mommy.
Hey now.
You're an all-star. No, it's weird that they took up the space for those things, and they have Golden Tea back there too. And so they're adult games. And now I love Golden Tea. wore a blister into my finger playing in Chicago last year. But I'm talking about something where it's like kids and it's something that can keep them entertained between how can I help you and your food is here. And that's it.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Make it happen.
So
go change the world.
Now, the other thing that this got me thinking about, if only I knew somebody in the restaurant industry. But I was thinking about wait times with kids because this all kind of revolves because we've had to do that too. Mm-hmm. We both know. And I think this is a bit of wisdom because I see a lot of people just turn and walk out, that whatever time they tell you it's going to be until the table is ready, cut it in half.
It's so wrong.
What do you mean?
The time they give you.
Oh.
It's so wrong. The time they give you is so wrong. I was agreeing with you.
Could not agree less, Tim.
No, literally at this other place in town, Clive's, mm-hmm. They give you a text message that says your table will be ready in 3 hours.
Yeah. And then they say, just ignore that.
Every time.
And then they don't tell you a time. They just say it's not going to be 3 hours.
It's not going to be 3 hours. Don't worry about it.
And then you just sit and wonder. You're just like, did they come looking? Do I know? Like, what's going on? But
another kid-friendly tip, though, they have the popcorn machine.
Yes.
Or like Mexican restaurants with the chips and salsa. You got to have something for the kids to snack on.
Right. That's a very good tip. Here's where restaurants need to also pick up because it's going to help, one, get returning customers and satisfied customers, and two, it's going to turn over their tables faster.
Oh, wow.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, my God.
I don't think you are.
What is happening?
So this is something I've experienced only a couple of times in airports when I'm going in and the waitress misidentifies me as somebody who's about to eat food and not just have a cocktail. And the first question is, what time is your flight? You can just yawn. I don't think that that's a lot better, but that they'll ask what time your flight is. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and she was like, oh, are you eating food? And I said, no, I'm just having a drink. And she said, oh, never mind then. I just like to know if people have a flight because some things take a long time, or, you know, I know that I need to get to you a little bit quicker than maybe somebody else.
Now, do you think that's just that server, or is that the establishment's training?
It's a good question. I don't remember the establishment, and I can't remember if I've been there twice, but it has happened to me a couple of times. Now, that
you're being so serious about this.
I know, because that idea needs to be brought to the host stand. So, and this isn't just a family thing. I think it applies mostly to family. But if you're going in and you're on a date, just yawn. And you're going in and it's a date and you're like, oh, they, say it's going to be 45 minutes, but you watch this. And so now you know that it's going to be 23 minutes. And you're crying because you're holding your yawns in. Or
nobody could see that. Oh. It was only just this eye.
And so, but they might have a date. And so they're going, okay. And they're trying to time it out. And so it's just a simple question like, do you have anything going on after this tonight? And they'd say, oh yeah, we're going to go see a movie. And, oh, okay. And then that brings me into the next part, which also should always be included or at least offered, which is, oh, okay, while you wait, would you like to look at a menu? And when you're ready, I can take down your drink order and your apps or your food order and have that ready for your server so that you don't have to go through this process while you're at your table.
Interesting.
So you've given that, you're seated. The first time you see your waitress, she has your drinks, maybe even your appetizers.
Yikes. Now this is a world I want to live in.
Right? And I'm not saying that this is a must or like this is what it's like a question, right? Are you looking for expedited seating or service tonight? Or because it happens so many times, right, where you're not on the same rhythm as your server and they're trying to like kind of push, and then you have to say like, oh, we're just going to hang out and have a cocktail, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, I won't see you again for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
So great luck getting your check from me. And so I feel like this alleviates a lot of those problems.
Interesting. I think you're assuming that these servers have any time to be focused on you and your timeline.
No, I'm talking about the host stand. See, you've already missed me. I'm saying you're talking to the hostess, because the hostesses are always just hanging anyways.
You're talking about when you're waiting.
When I'm waiting.
You get to a restaurant, there's a wait. You're waiting for your table.
Yep.
Yeah. Once you sit down, it's just business as usual.
Business as usual.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
But the ticket,
I thought you were trying to say that they would give you like expedited service if they knew you were headed somewhere.
Because part of it too is just the impression of it, right?
What does the movie have to do with that then, if you're going to a movie?
I'm just saying, if you're in a rush to get out of there, like for us, we give the kids popcorn. What's the next thing they say?
They need a lemonade.
Right. And then you have to make the decision, do I want to go stand at the bar and try to jockey for a lemonade and then pay for a lemonade, and I only have a card. So I'm going to run a card for a $2 tab and then come back, and then the whole thing is just not feasible. But if you could say, yep, we ordered you one. As soon as we're at our table, our waitress is going to bring us a lemonade. There you go. Right?
There you go.
I'm sure a lot of people in the service industry are going to have a lot of thoughts on this.
So many people hate your guts right now.
I don't care.
They're just like, this asshole with his big ideas.
Yeah. And no more tipping either. No, just kidding.
I feel like there's a lot. So there's a lot to consider in that situation, because the time that there is a wait is...
You're supposed to just be on my team.
Oh.
Just kidding.
It's the best idea I've heard, and I think we should implement it in all restaurants across the world.
What is the what?
Well, because there's really not always a wait. It's a lot of process to put in place for the 2 hours a night where there's a wait at the restaurant.
For sure. That's why I'm saying I'm not saying the industry needs to change. All I'm saying is that especially where we are in suburban areas surrounding a city, I feel like we can't be too unique in that regard, where, I mean, for Christ's sake, people wait 45 minutes for Raising Cane still.
Yeah. That's wild.
So, that happens almost every restaurant kind of in the area.
Has a wait around dinner time.
On the busy Thursday
to Sunday.
Yeah. Or our local restaurant in town, their parking lot is full all the time. When I took Clementine to lunch at noon on a Thursday, the lot was almost completely full and there were people parking on the street.
That's insane. Was there basketball?
No.
Oh, that is a little peculiar.
There was high school hockey.
Oh, well,
it was a state high school hockey tournament.
There was something going on. Yeah.
But,
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Those are. I just think that there are a lot of things, because when we were little, I feel like the mini arcade was a thing. Now,
you were really in on this mini arcade idea.
There was nothing better. Now, you clearly don't have the memories I
didn't play arcade games. That's what I'm saying, too.
What did you do?
I don't know. I probably read a book or something.
God.
Or I sat nicely with my mother at the table. I don't know. Sipping my virgin margarita.
Oh, jeez. Gross. No, it was... Now, also, I was the baby by a long shot. So, but
you didn't have anybody to talk to.
When I was Jude's age, when I was 8, I would look as my mom put her purse on for her to put the Ziploc bag full of quarters in it. And I was just so nice. Like,
we're going to Pizza Hut.
We were not going to Pizza Hut. We were going everywhere else, but everywhere had it. That's my point. It was right next to the cigarette machine.
Oh, yeah. Yikes. And the pull tabs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right where you want the kids to be hanging out.
Yeah.
help a guy. You can get your arm up a little bit and snag like, the Marlboro Light 100s that are on the bottom.
Can't say I ever did that.
No, me neither. I didn't do that either. But I'm just saying, I think it's time for people to, and then also just the retro gaming concept. I mean, people are opening up full on bars just for that.
Mm-hmm.
Buy one, buy two. If you're doing well, get two of them. Maybe you have a room in your restaurant that has a pool table and a dartboard that nobody's ever seen be
Never
used.
been touched.
There's
never
talks
been
of leaks at this restaurant, but I don't know. I've never seen it go down.
Every once in a while, a group of kids goes and throws.
Maybe you have a niece and a nephew that you really love, and you're hearing this idea, and you're wealthy, really wealthy, and you wanted to, put in a couple of arcade games. That could be something that you could do.
It could be.
Rather than, I don't know, fix a hot tub that has a leak or something like that. I don't know. Just that's a for instance. I'm not talking about a specific person.
Just for instance. Yeah.
Just for instance. But yeah, I have so many memories from that. And now selfishly, I want to give those memories to my kids so that they can go make their own memories, so that I can have
so they can go make your memories.
2-minute conversation with my wife without being interrupted and wanting to lose my mind.
We can do that. Yeah. We have graduated. I feel like tips of the past are for like the toddlers.
Yes.
We've graduated to the kids will sit down and actually like have a conversation with us. And that's very recent.
Yeah.
Just in like, the last 6 months, I feel like.
That's true. Clementine threw up on a table and we got out of there without anybody else in the restaurant knowing it.
Shoot.
I wish there was security footage of how we handled that situation, because it was a masterclass.
Yeah, we really handled that like a bunch of pros. It didn't get on the table.
No.
It only got on the paper that she was drawing on. We just, folded it up. Wiped down the table.
We put it in a to-go box and I went and threw it away. Why does that make you uncomfortable? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know that I would tell people that happened.
Why not?
I don't know.
I didn't put it in a to-go box and then just hand it to a random person and be like, hey, you want some fries? Like,
my tummy's churning a little.
My apologies. We don't have to talk about that
Yeah,
anymore.
thanks. Yeah.
But
what I was saying is the period of time with which you have to entertain your kids at a restaurant is rather small.
It's true.
Only, 0 to 7, I would say.
Okay. Since I was talking about old times.
Old times?
Mini arcades, cigarette machines. They used to have. Do you remember the first question when you walked to a host stand back in the...
Oh, yeah. I do. I think I know what you're talking about. Smoking section. Yeah.
Smoking or not.
Smoking or not.
And...
They even had those on airplanes, didn't they?
Yeah.
Try to make that make sense in your brain.
Isn't it crazy that we live in a society that could make an airplane take flight, yet stuff a bunch of people in the cabin and think it makes any kind of difference where somebody smokes?
Yeah.
I guess technically it does, right? You don't want to sit next to somebody, but everybody had to smell like cigarettes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No.
Smoking or not?
Should there be now, and again, not an industry change.
Okay.
What would your thoughts be on a restaurant having a family or non-family section?
I'm fine with that.
Right?
I'm fine with that.
We would never sit there.
In the family section?
Yeah.
Oh, I would. I don't mind doing that.
Oh.
You don't, because then you don't have to worry about your kid like popping their head over the booth.
Right. Exactly. My thoughts.
Yeah, I'd do that. Sure.
Although I think that for a restaurant is probably the most damning thing to hear, because it's just like, are you kidding me?
Oh, people wouldn't go.
It's just going to be, it wouldn't take long for somebody to make friends, and the next thing you know, it's just mass chaos.
Oh.
Jude brings us
you
football
still have
in.
to parent.
Yeah.
Just because you're sitting in the family section doesn't mean that you just let your kids run around like lunatics.
more parenting means more scolding, which means more crying, which means more whining, which means it's all just going to go downhill.
I don't think so. I think it would be a fine decision.
Oh.
I support it.
Oh.
I'm pro.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I should have seen this coming. The more I'm into something, the more you're like, no. And as soon as I went, never mind, this isn't a good idea. You're like, this is the best idea I think I've ever heard.
That's why we work so well together.
Oh, it is?
We balance each other out.
Got it. Yeah. So that was but yes, that was the exact thing I had in mind, was the idea of, I think that's the thing that makes me most uncomfortable is when our kids decide, especially now that they're the age that they're at, because now it's like Jude looking over at somebody isn't cute like it was when he was 2.
No,
now
he doesn't still do that.
No.
Sorry. Well, why would you say that? Like, he doesn't do it.
Clementine doing it.
Yeah, Clementine does it. Yeah.
But that's still cute.
Well, she's adorable.
That's why I didn't use her as an example. You would have said, why'd you use Clementine as an example? She's the most beautiful angel that's ever existed. I can't win with you.
Well, when it's true, it's true.
It is. It is true. But yes, that was exactly what. But so yeah, those are my ideas.
All right. Why? Can we just step back for a minute? Why did you decide to have all of these ideas, very specific ideas about this topic? Like, you're very interested in this subject and you've put some thought into your ideas. Where's this coming from?
I found a topic that I could run with and get pretty intense about. My hallucination was I wouldn't get called off as though I was saying something inappropriate or offensive, but that's happened like 5 times already in this conversation, and we've been talking about restaurants. So
yeah,
I'm just looking, I'm looking for my smooth wave where I can, bring some serious to something that is not very serious. Because my other direction would be to go light on something serious, and I know that that's not the direction you want to go. So I am trying to.
I really enjoy when you get so intense about a topic like this. Well, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's because these are some of the best ideas, I think, of this year.
For who?
Mankind, if I'm being honest. And I think that there are a lot of people who will agree with me. Smart people.
I think so. I don't think
somebody is watching this. They're like, yeah. One person is going to get fired up with me on this. Reach out. We'll change the world together.
Change the world together by reintroducing arcade games into Pizza Huts.
Right. I don't know. Pizza Hut was just the example because your childhood was boring.
Hey, I went to Pizza Hut.
Yeah. But you didn't go to the arcade game.
That's true.
You sat at the table and waited. Oh, you 100% waited with your legitimate readathon thing to get your personal pan pizza.
Of course I did.
You did not fake those numbers.
Of course I did not.
Yeah. Same.
I actually had to fake my numbers in the wrong direction. Like, I thought that my teacher would think I was lying about how much I read. And so I would try to, I remember one time I put the hours I read in the future, on my calendar. Cause I was like, she's going to think I lied.
Yeah.
There's no way she's going to believe I read this much. So I started filling it out on the days ahead to make it look like I didn't read so much in one night. And I turned it in and there was days that were filled out in the future. And she thought I was lying because she's like, you filled it out till Thursday and it's Tuesday. And I had read that much, but I was just trying to disperse it so I didn't look like a liar. And I ended up looking like a liar.
You forgot your last name and who preceded you. You didn't think that one through.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't think that one through.
So yeah, those are my ideas for restaurants and family going activities. Do you have any other tips for maybe people who are in the toddler age? Anything that you could think of that you thought we really killed as a restaurant going couple? I don't have any. I don't know.
Snacks. It seems I don't think a lot. You're going to a restaurant, so you don't think about bringing food with you, but having snacks for your kids at the restaurant is vital. Unless you're going to some place that has popcorn or chips and salsa or whatever.
Yeah.
But something just for them to snack on.
Yeah.
While they're waiting.
Yeah.
I feel like that took me way too long to figure out.
And I think mine is don't try to clean up the crumbs on the ground.
Oh no.
I've tried to do that too many times and been called off by waitresses. So like, don't do that.
That's what I was gonna say. I had the loveliest waitress. Actually, like I was like down on my hands and knees, and she was so sweet. She was like, "You are out tonight. Like I'm here to take care of this. You're not at home." And like it was so nice.
I paid her. I tipped her to say that.
You did not. But it's true. They have vacuum. I mean, I think she literally said, "I have a vacuum."
Yeah.
Like, why are you on your hands and knees picking up crumbs?
I suppose that's probably there's probably not many people like me that. Well, or you. I guess you did it too. Do you think there's a lot of people that are like us?
Totally.
That get on the ground and try to clean that up.
It feels like it feels rude that you're like disrespecting their space.
Yeah. No. Yeah. My brother, who owns the local 218, he said there's nothing more rewarding in owning a restaurant than when he has to clean up after our kids after we've left.
Yeah.
So I always just try to, really let him have a good time.
Yeah.
Because it's just so fulfilling for him. And I think that that's just wonderful to give him that. It's kind of a gift, I think.
It's good.
Yeah.
Both of our brothers have restaurants.
This is true.
And, I guess.
Slice on Oak is the other one.
Oh, thanks. Slice on Oak has the ice cream or gelato setup. That's really good for kids. If you want to sit and pour yourself a couple extra drinks, sorry, a extra drink, not a couple, just one. That can keep them occupied too. There's nothing worse than having shitty dessert options on the menu. You want one more beer, but your kids are ready to go. You bribe them with a dessert, but you find out that their dessert menu is garbage.
Or the portions are ridiculous. They bring you a half quart of ice cream, and it's like, okay, like what are we doing?
This sundae is as big as my child's face.
Yeah, it's like a special occasion kind of sundae, not a dish of ice cream.
Yeah.
And then when you're just like, can you just no. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we're just going to be throwing away a lot of ice cream then.
Yeah. So I guess those are my tips is don't keep the food just to the meal. Snacks for before, order a dessert.
Yep.
Makes your stay better.
And then restaurants with your family.
Yeah.
Check them out or don't. You really have not come with me on this ride.
Check them out or don't. Check them out or don't. Well, should we say that about our family's restaurants? We should say check them out, not or don't.
I was saying restaurants in general.
Oh, restaurants in general. Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying our family's restaurants.
No.
Check out Local 218. Check out Slice on Oak. Other restaurants, check them out or don't.
Exactly.
The way you said it was like family restaurant. I'm done.
Jenny's done. And so are we. Thanks so much for being here. Should we go check on the kids?
Let's go check on the kids.
All right. See you next week.